You are listening to the Project Management Podcast. We bring project management topics to beginners and experts. Find us on the web at pmpodcast.blogspot.com or send your emails to pmpodcast@gmail.com. Hello and welcome to Fast Track number 1. I am Cornelius Fichtner. Yes, you heard right. Fast Track. This is the fast-tracked version of the full-length Project Management Podcast. Well, why fast track, you may ask? Well, quite simple. Like all of you, I have a day job, and I have a real life too. Podcasting is my passion, and I enjoy discussing project management for you and with you. And I try to do one in-depth 30 to 60 minute show every week. Well, sometimes that's just not possible. Like this week, I have to do my taxes. I have to focus on something else. And the fast track shows are my answer to this challenge. How can I give you a show even though I don't really have time for it? Well, shorten the time. So today we're going to look at 2 items only. We're going to look at what does fast track mean in the project management sense, and I also have a tip of the week for you. So let's get started. Today's Fast Track is sponsored by Entaplicity Project Management Solutions. You can find them at www.weneedpm.com. So item number 1 today, what does fast track mean? Well, fast tracking is a schedule compression technique, and we've all done it, probably unconsciously, and many of you have done it without even knowing that it's called that. Fast tracking means when starting the next phase without really completing the prior phase. Well, let's say you're in the middle of a project and you're in the analysis phase and you notice that time is getting short, and what do? Well, you know that part of our drawings are already almost finished, so we might start development on this while we're still working on analyzing all this other stuff here on the side. Developers can start while we're still analyzing, and that's fast tracking. So you overlap your phases right there. You fast track them. Of course, this can mean that sometimes you have to start doing work on the next phase without 100% knowing whether or not you're going down the right path because, like I said, your analysis may not have been completely done. This may result in rework, and this is kind of a trade-off. You have to trade the time versus the risk of increased rework that you have to do. There is another scheduling compression technique, which is called crashing. And crashing is a schedule compression technique in which you look at the trade-offs between cost and schedule to determine how can I obtain the greatest amount of compressing my schedule for the least incremental cost, for instance by adding additional people on it. And if you look at it from a purely theoretical point of view, this show today should actually be called not the project management fast track, but probably the project management crash. But from a marketing point of view, the project management crash just doesn't sound good. All right, so much for item 1 today. What does fast tracking mean? And now let's move on to the Project Management Podcast's tip of the week. My tip for you this week is always plan for the unexpected on your project. And by that, I don't mean risk management. I'm talking about changed requirements. Face it, it's going to happen. Something will have to be changed. Be ready for it, but don't worry about it either. It's part of what you signed up for when you became a project manager. Well, think about it. If there were no changes on the project, if you could just sit down and analyst and say, well, analyze this project, tell me what we're going to build, and then we'll hand it over to the developers and they build it without any changes, they wouldn't really need you now, would you? Changes are where you as the project manager can shine and really lead the project. Here's what you have to do when changes come your way. This is what happened to me last Friday, for instance. My customer pretty much told me that the processes that we had agreed upon are null and void, and our delivery date, our initial release date, is in 2 weeks. Well, first of all, keep cool. Be ready to discuss these requirements, these changes with your customer, and throw your brain into overdrive. Come up with alternatives. Talk this through. Talk about the ifs, the whens, and the whys, and what the customer exactly wants. This way, you can keep the discussion off the emotional level. You can keep it in the constructive zone. You do this business-like. And then, of course, the most important thing you're going to have to do is you always have to relate those changes back to what does it mean to our project? What does it mean to the triple constraints? Scope, time, and cost. Well, Mr. Customer, you have to say, this is what you require me to change. To me, that means I have to bring on 2 more people on the project. That means there's going to be increased cost. Okay, so you don't want increased cost. All right, we have to do it with the people that we already have on the project. This means we're going to have to push the schedule out by 2.5 months. Okay, you don't want that either. In that case, if we have to squeeze this in the time that we have available to us, the quality is going to drop considerably. Okay, that's acceptable to you. Let's go that way. So, talk to your customer about the changes that they bring to you and discuss with them what it means to your project, because they're going to bring them to you. Be ready for them. There you have it. Project management tip of the week. Always plan for the unexpected on your project. Today's background music, as always, was brought to you by music.podshow.com. And the artist today, his name is Derek K. Miller. He is from British Columbia, Canada, and you're going to love this. The title of the song is called Had a Plan, Had to Change It. That's it for today. Thank you very much for listening to the first Fast Track. Next week, I hope to be back on with a full-length show, and I will be presenting an interview about Sarbanes-Oxley. As always, you can find us on the web at pmpodcast.blogspot.com or send your emails to pmpodcast@gmail.com. And when you write, please tell me where in the world you are writing from. Until next time.